All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Week number 9, Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the LA Chargers here. I got two picks I want to throw your way in today's video. We're locking them both in as final plays, but as always, guys, keep an eye on that pinned comment. That's where any changes or additional plays or anything like that will be. It's kind of like the Bible of the final plays for today's video. But the Jets taking on the Chargers here. Right now, Jets, at the time of recording, sitting at 3.5-point dogs at home. The total sitting at 39.5. Now, both these teams have had kind of weird seasons, and I'm not talking, Aaron Rodgers getting injured or Eckler for the Chargers being out for a while. I'm talking like their record, their against the spread record, what they've done over-underwise, as well as sort of the strength of schedule here. Like, both these teams have played some good teams. We'll start with the Chargers here. They're 3-4 on the year, 1-2, excuse me, on the road, 2-4-1 against the spread, and they've hit 5 unders out of their 7 games here. But again, 3-4 is a record. 4 losses. 3 of those 4 losses couldn't have come against, better teams, right? They lose to Miami. They lose to Dallas. They lose to Kansas City. Like, playing all 3 of those teams that quickly in the year, in the first half of the year is tough to begin with. 2 of those teams being AFC teams as well, right? Flipping over to the Jets here, 4-3 record, really good against the spread, 4-2-1 against the spread. Now, they were getting some big numbers, which makes sense, right? Like when they covered against Kansas City a little while back, but they've hit 4 unders out of their 7 games here, and at home they're 2-2. But even still, they've had a couple quality wins. They beat Buffalo. They beat Philadelphia. Like, this is a Jets team that seems like they may be slightly exceeding expectations, and that's tough to say because obviously expectations were sky high with Aaron Rodgers, but once he goes down, I don't know if anyone really thinks that he's going to be, that this team's going to be anything special. But nonetheless, guys, we do have 2 picks to jump into in today's video. And I kind of talk about how these have been weird teams and exceeding or underwhelming, blah, 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 because it's tough for me to make a spread pick on this game. I came in sort of Chargers gung-ho in my mind, but then looking at it, like from a defensive DVOA perspective, we know that this Jets team is very, very good when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. 6th overall defensive DVOA, 6th in the pass. Now, they lack in the rush game at 18th, right? So I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's an opportunity for the Chargers to be able to kind of expose that. The Chargers offensively, 8th ranked DVOA team, but 22nd in the rush game. So all of a sudden that negates that, like this is a good passing Chargers team, but the Jets excelling when it comes to the pass game. So it's almost like I think the Jets keep this game close, but 3.5 points doesn't seem like it's enough points here. So I'm sticking away from the spread because, like I said, I wanted to go all in on the Chargers, but then looking at where strengths and weaknesses kind of intersect here, I think the Jets can keep this game close. I just don't know if I fully trust it. Now, on the same level of not being able to trust it, this game has underwritten all over it. You have the primetime effect, right, which we've seen so far this year, a bunch of primetimes hitting their under. You have the fact that the Chargers, other than last week against a terrible Bears defense, really their offense hadn't looked all that great. Dallas 17 points, Kansas City 17 points, which this is a Jets team that the defense is right up with with those 2 teams, right? So yes, the Jets aren't the Cowboys. They aren't the Kansas City Chiefs, but that defense is in the same conversation. And then you flip to the Jets side of the ball. They won last week 13-10, and it was against the Giants. They only put up 20 points, which would barely be covering their half of this total against the Eagles. So it's almost like the teams that the Jets are winning against are playing bad on the other side, which speaks to their defense, but does not speak to an over. So my mind leans under. It just so happens that 39.5 seems super, super low. Like a 21-20 game would be relatively low scoring, yet it cashes the over here. So with all that being said, I do have 2 player props that I like here. If any of those leans end up coming to fruition, becoming a final play, I will go ahead and let you guys know in the pinned comment, but I kind of want to just give you my thoughts on the game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, and I think the Jets keep it close. Now, I don't necessarily think 3.5 points. Like, the Chargers, if they win this game and it's close, it could still be a 4-point game, right? Like, the Jets aren't getting that much there. And in a couple of their against the spread wins here, when they covered against Kansas City, they're getting 8.5 points, 6.5 against Philly. Yes, they won one of those games outright, but still a lot more points than 3.5. But let's go ahead and get into the player props here, guys. Before we do that, I do want to plug Sleeper. Sleeper has a promo going on right now. Justin Herbert in this game. They've knocked his passing yards line down to 0.5. If you want to capitalize on that, you can pair that with 2 or combine it with up to 8 picks in a slip. Player props only. The more you get right, the more you get paid out. And speaking of payout, guys, if you put in $100 or $50 or 20, whatever you put in, Sleeper is going to come out here and say, you know what? Here you go. They'll match your deposit. New account balance of double whatever you put in. You put in 50 bucks. Sleeper's going to reluctantly give you $50 and you'll have a new account balance of 100. Go check it out, guys. A really unique app. I've been loving it more than, Prize Picks, Underdog, just because it's very unique and very different. Each and every pick that you make has its own payout multipliers. They don't follow the fixed payout structure like all those other apps I mentioned. So go check out Sleeper. I got a link in the pinned comment for that. All right. Let's talk player props here for this Jets and Chargers game. Now, the first player prop we're going to jump into, and we'll jump over onto Outlier, guys. If you don't know what Outlier is, also check out the pin com for that 7 days free. We're looking at Austin Eckler, longest reception. You guys know I love my long reception and long rush lines because you don't need to worry about volume. You don't need to worry about X, Y, and Z. It could happen in one play. Over 13.5. Now, obviously, he goes down, missed a few weeks, right? Comes back, though, and he still hit this in 3 of his 4 games that he's played. Now, he only had a 1-yard catch against Kansas City. I don't think that matters all that much, right? We're more or less looking at how he's literally doubled this line 3 of those other 4 times. And if we take a peek at the Jets, so a very good defense, right? Guess where they lack? In yards allowed in the air to the running back. 4th most yards allowed to running backs in terms of the passing game. This is an Eckler guy that is averaging 8.8 yards per reception, and that's with this one obviously weighing it down as well. So literally, you're looking at a player in which he could hit this on this line right here, 13.4. He gets one more, 0.1 more of a yard. He catches that on one catch, and that is his yards per catch for that game. It's not even his longest. His long that game was 39. So I'm loving this spot for him. Right now, you're looking at minus 115 over on DraftKings. And yes, you're looking at a guy that he isn't going to be the primary target here, but this is all the season put together, meaning that he had, while he was out, had a little bit of a setback here in terms of targets, still getting the 5th most targets, getting targeted on about 10% of the plays right around here, right? So though that's a little bit misleading, I still think it gives, I guess, a good look in terms of overall the targets that he's been getting. And he's getting a lot of targets, 6, 8. We just don't want one of these dud games here. So give me Eckler over 13.5 for his longest reception. Second pick, we're looking at the defensive side of the ball for the Jets here. Over 3.5 tackles plus assists, or actually over 3.5 tackles, for Tony Adams. His tackles plus assists, I also don't hate, but I really do think that he makes these outright tackles a lot more. You could see in 2023, he's hit this in every single game compared to missing it in the first 3 games of the season in terms of tackles plus assists. What I like about him, he's literally on the field all the time. In the last 3 weeks, 98% of defensive snaps played, 100%, and then 100% in the last 2, literally averaging 99 point whatever snaps played on the defensive side of the ball. This is a Chargers defense that's going to hit you in multiple ways, both over the middle with the run game and that type of thing, and Tony Adams should be all over the place, able to make these 4 tackles for us there. In terms of odds, minus 130 is your best bet right now over on BetMGM. So though those may not be the sexiest of plays, those are 2 plays that I really do like, both the trends and the matchups in terms of what we're looking at here. Again, keep an eye in the pinned comment for any sort of additions, or maybe I do roll with the Jets plus 3.5 or the under 39.5. Those are just leans right now. I'm not all that confident in them, and hopefully you guys do respect. I know some of you guys don't, the guppies, but you do respect if I just tell you my thoughts and let you know that, yes, this is the way I'm thinking, but I'm not all that confident because I don't want to fake confidence for content. I say that all the time. I drop that bar, right? Don't want to fake confidence for content. It's just not how I roll. I'd rather give you guys 2 picks that may not be the sexiest of picks that I do think have a good chance of hitting. But nonetheless, guys, if you made it to this point in the video, make sure you are subscribed and liking the video, and make sure you comment 9 and drop the emoji. If you know what we're talking about, if you know, drop the emoji in the comments, but go ahead and comment 9. And that's all I have for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.